Heat are back in action tonight. They're taking on the Clippers. This will be a fun game tonight regardless because you got fun guy in the building. Obviously, there is some question marks with Jimmy Butler's health, so hopefully he's good to go. I really think that Jimmy Butler's on the injury report, though, with a broken heart because he was snubbed yesterday, Leroy. Snubbed from the All-Star starters. Two things I have issue with, okay? Two things I have issue with. One, I don't really know why he's a front court player. I don't understand that because he's not a front court player. He's a backcourt player. He's basically the Heat's point guard, basically.
Right.
For the most part. Like when we're talking as Jorge Masvidal would say, when it's all tomatoes and potatoes and it comes down to it, Jimmy Butler's their point guard. He initiates the offense, especially when it matters. Maybe with Goran and Tyler Hero out there, I guess you would qualify him.
What did they announce him before the game starts?
They don't. They just go by number. And
no,
they don't say position. Mike Piamonte doesn't say position. He just goes. He goes number 22, Jimmy Butler. He doesn't go position. Okay. They don't do that anymore. You want to know why? Because there's no positions.
Right.
There's no positions. So I'm annoyed by that. I'm annoyed by the player vote.
I think you know what's funny is that I think in football your coach puts you on the ballot. And he gives you your position.
They do. I think Eric did.
Right.
Actually, he put him as a front court player.
Okay.
But even still, it annoys me because if it was, he'd have the second most player votes for the backcourt. I don't understand this Trae Young fascination. I got to be honest with you,
dude.
They got
dude's a bucket waiting to happen.
Dude, they got 10 wins.
Okay, but what is that? What
are we just watching? Okay. Are we all watching this on Twitter?
Here. Why do we pick and choose when we use wins and losses? You know, there's been a Cy Young.
Just a little.
There's been a Cy Young winner with a losing record.
Felix was 13-12.
13-12, right? With the current rules that you guys use, that's not possible.
Yeah, but that's different because the game will literally be out of his hands at a certain point in the game that he has no control over.
And it's not for Trae Young?
No, actually, it's not for Trae Young.
If he scores 40,
he shoots the most. That's all it's there for.
Okay,
10 wins.
Okay,
Leroy,
but if he shoots here,
Leroy.
but you can break that down and use real numbers instead of feelings.
Leroy, they have fewer wins than the Cavs and Knicks.
Okay, again, not his fault.
Okay, let me ask you this.
So what if he's shooting 40%?
Can I ask you this?
Or 45%?
Can I ask you this?
What?
Luka Doncic, second-year player.
Yep.
Mavs are in the playoffs.
Yep.
Trae Young, second-year player.
Yep.
Worst team in the league.
He has a better team.
Does he?
Luka has a better team.
He was a better team last year too, though.
Right.
Maybe he's a better player.
No, but okay. That's. I mean, if you want to say Luka's a better player, sure, that's fine.
First of all, these player votes, they're running wild.
No,
first of all,
I got
too many players have one vote. You're all voting for yourself.
Listen, no,
I need that. No,
you can't. You can't vote for yourself.
Oh, I think they can.
No, you can't.
Really?
Here's what happens.
Dion definitely voted for himself.
Dion didn't vote. He was the only one that didn't get no votes. Here, you ready for this? Here's what happens. Right? Say if you play for the Atlanta Hawks and you want Trae Young to go, right? The way you help Trae Young is because you can't vote for people on your team. So then you would vote for somebody that hardly even plays.
I think you can vote for players on your team.
Then all these guys voted for themselves.
I'm telling you, because there's Furkan Korkmaz got a vote.
Who's that?
Exactly. You got to vote.
I'm waiting for the day because you know the egos in the NBA where every player just votes for himself. So everybody in the league gets one vote.
Trae Young was third in the player vote. In the media, he was second. So between the players and the media, forget what you think about the fans. Oh, the player votes are sometimes worse. Like Jimmy Butler was sixth among front court guys.
Okay, but
sixth.
Here. When you leave debris throughout the league, sometimes that has a negative effect.
Sounds like jealousy.
Warranted or not.
Sounds like jealousy.
Whatever it sounds like, you hold on. Peacock Pirate.
What, man?
Team Petty. You're telling me that if you had a Jimmy Butler on your team, right, that you wouldn't be one of the guys to.
I don't know about the old Jimmy Butler. What I know about now is the current Jimmy Butler, who's a
this
delight.
guy.
I know about
This guy.
Jimmy Butler is a delight and a peach. That's the Jimmy Butler I know. That's the Jimmy Butler I know. And to be 6th in the player votes, like, come on, man. First of all, it's just wild to me. It's just wild to me.
Hey, look, you're the Doris Burke of hockey. You're the Doris Burke of hockey.
How so?
Bob gives up 4 goals a game.
I'm a Panthers fan. I'm a Panthers fan.
But if any other goalie was giving up 4 goals a game, you'd be.
But we have a vibe. We have a vibe, and it's me and Russian. Here's can we get Charles Barkley from yesterday? Here's Chuck on TNT yesterday. Charles Barkley. I told you this is a very strange year for me because all of the people that were our enemies in the Big 3 area, they all love the Heat now, and Charles Barkley is no different.
Jimmy Butler, the Miami Heat have been a surprise team in the NBA this year, and the real only addition they got is Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler should be starting, plain and simple. And let me tell you something. And Bam Adebayo, he should have been in that conversation. I mean, the fans. Oh, he was? Yeah, no, I'm talking about from the fans. Bam Adebayo, if he don't make the All-Star team, first of all, he's going to make the team. Because if he don't make the team, I'm not going to Chicago. I'm going to go to Maui. But let me tell you something.
Why Maui?
Jimmy, it's in Hawaii, fool.
I'm just checking.
Let me tell you something. Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, I hope I'm pronouncing the kid's name right.
Adebayo.
You know who I meant, didn't you?
Yeah, but you said you hope you're pronouncing it right. I'm just saying.
Well, don't be
Adebayo.
correcting me on TV.
You ain't correcting. You asked for the correct
correct. Get back in the hall.
Okay, I'm
Come on.
No, but Jimmy Butler should be starting. Not just because of the numbers, just because of what he brings to that team. He gives them an identity.
Yeah.
Hey.
Shout out to Chuck.
Somebody said Trae Young is the biggest looter in the riot.
I mean, it's just what are we doing these days? 10 wins? 10?
Can you imagine if it was actually to be the West All-Stars against the East All-Stars? The East would get crushed.
Crushed. Yeah. But, like, it's just, all right. And I got to say, like, I've watched, I've seen Trae Young a couple times in person. One was a shortened stint because he got hurt. But it's just like, I don't know. Like, if you're going to tell me if it's all things equal, like him versus Bradley Beal, even if you're going to go, Bradley Beal's a better player.
Sure.
He's a better player. I mean, he's older, so, I mean, there's that. But I don't know, man. It's weird to me that he was so popular this year. Because that tells me that people aren't probably watching Hawks games. They're watching, like, YouTube cut-ups of Trae Young, or they're watching NBA.
No, they're watching stat lines, which is, like, doesn't everybody do that?
I don't know, man.
Like, we pick and choose. Here, I hate in sports that we pick and choose when we use the stat lines and when we don't. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, let's take it over into football, right? If I say Eli Manning, what's the first thing you say?
Super Bowls.
No. I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer because he was 117 and 117.
That's not the first thing I think of when it comes to I think of the Super Bowls.
Okay.
Because he has iconic Super Bowl throws.
Right. Oh.
And a dopey face.
Right. That teardrop on the sideline, one of the best throws I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Next to the Ben Roethlisberger in the Super Bowl.
That's Antonio Holmes.
Wow.
No, like I look at this and I just see that the season the Heat have had, and it's been tremendous. They're 31-13. Like, you remember the year where the Hawks were the best team in the league and they got 4 All-Stars?
Right.
And it's just like, are they going to get 2?
They don't. Yeah, they'll get Bam and they'll get.
I think Bam and Jimmy are going to make it. Like, looking at the rankings of where things are, you got to imagine the coaches are probably going to be in the same line.
And what if Spo ends up coaching team?
He probably is.
Right.
I mean, it's not written in stone. I know Frank Vogel, I think, is set because they're 4.5 up, so he's clinched.
So
I don't know when they decide. I guess it's probably Monday is when they probably finally decide.
Next week. So, question. I don't know this, and I'm asking. Because sometimes we make a big ado about nothing. When they say All-Star, do they say All-Star starter?
These are starters.
No. So, say next year.
If you're referring to the player's history of time, how many times they made the All-Star, no one's going to know if he's a starter versus came off the bench.
Correct. That's what I'm asking.
Okay.
Is he just going to be an All-Star? or is he going to be?
He's going to be an all-star.
Okay.
It's like the Jeter Hall of Fame debate.
So why are we making a big deal about this?
Because I just think that a guy who goes out there and he has clearly had one of the biggest impacts in the East this year.
Agreed. But if he ends up being an all-star,
you know, we were talking yesterday about the rookies.
What does it matter?
Because he should be recognized as a better player than Trae Young right now. He should be.
Except he's in.
Except what? Trae Young is at the bottom of the league.
Okay, but guess what?
I know
they play different positions.
I understand, but they really don't. They really don't.
Okay.
There's a couple of things I'm annoyed with. I'm annoyed with the process. I'm annoyed where Jimmy Butler is put on this list. And I'm annoyed that Trae Young, with a whopping 11 wins, finds himself as high on the rankings as he is. I'm sorry. It's weird. It's a weird thing.
Again, but
I'm not asking.
If they end up being all-stars.
Have 17 wins. Can you be on the outskirts of the playoffs? Be the Pistons. Could you be the Pistons? 11 wins, Leroy.
I know. I'm not. You're giving me team stats and an individual award.
Yeah, but is this not the game where an individual can make the most impact on a team?
Yes. Basketball is, but you probably need to be a two-way player. Trae Young is not that.
You know what I wanted to ask you, Leroy? Based on this player, based on the All-Star voting, with the league's opinion, because basically the way it goes, they do a weighted score, 50% fans, 25 to media, 25 to players, but it doesn't really matter about how many total votes you got as a fan. It's just where did you rank? Okay, so. Interestingly enough, as the weighted score went down, you had Jimmy Butler, who had a weighted score of, 4.25, and you had Bam with a weighted score of 5.75. So I guess the lower the score you are, the better they want it.
Correct.
But interestingly enough, you had Bam Adebayo in the player rankings finish ahead of Jimmy Butler in the front court.
Again, when you do player rankings, understand where Jimmy played. He loses support where Bam doesn't lose support anywhere.
Even still, like to see that Bam's made that kind of an impression on people is still very impressive. So I guess the question really is, who is the Heat's best player in your mind? Because I still think it's Jimmy Butler, because Bam. He's still got growing things to do as far as those end of game situations and going to get wins for his team. But his impact on winning is clear, and the growth that he's had at 22 years old is amazing.
Don't confuse best with most impactful. Bam does a lot of different things, and so his impact may be greater. Doesn't necessarily mean he is the best player. You understand what I'm saying? I did a lot of things on the football field. Like a lot of things that a lot of players couldn't do, and that's what made me, that's why I was able to play. I could block, I could pass protect, I could catch passes, and then run the ball and do short yardage. But if you needed a starter, I could do that also.
Yeah, but
Randy Moss was considered just a wide receiver, right? But he was better.
Yeah, he was
even though I touched more areas of a football field.
Yeah, but it's one of the. But Randy was still younger than you, right? Like you didn't feel like you were going to have this still jump to go. Like I think we're still with Bam. We're looking at, yes, he has the most impact, but maybe we're also seeing the start of him also being the most talented and the best.
But the only guy that I can think of that if he took that leap to move him past Jimmy, as far as talent, right, would be Siakam. Like, to be able to actually handle the ball and then shoot the three, okay? But Bam is always going to be the defender, the try-hard guy. He's going to be able to facilitate a little bit. Yeah, but he's going to be able to do a whole lot of things. But if you told him just do this, he wouldn't be able to do that.
We don't know, because a lot of what Siakam is doing, a lot of the Bam Jimmy dynamic is a lot of what it was with Pascal and Kawhi last year.
Yeah, but you could see even at the same stage he was with Bam and he had that other superstar with him, he was still shooting a three. He was still where his game is now, he was doing parts of that early on in his career. Whereas Bam, you're never going to think of him as a guy that's going to dribble up and just take a three.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well,
it's hard because it's just hard to say in this day and age with how.
Yeah, no, it's not.
It is though.
It's not hard to say. Look, if he was going to be any type of shooter, he would be shooting it. No,
I don't know, man.
Okay. Like I'm just, and I'm not saying he can't do it, but I'm saying you would have some signs of, hey, like not even. Why don't you take more threes, man? You make nothing. You see what I'm saying? Look, you know what? Compare Siakam's 3-point percentage last year to this year, and then Bam doesn't even shoot threes.
No, he doesn't.
Right. So, like, that's what I mean. Their games.
But he was, like Bam's in year 3. Like Bam came in the league at 19. Pascal did at 22. That's Bam's age now.
Okay.
Like there's still I don't think it's completely crazy to write all that stuff off yet. And even if he doesn't become a 3, like Jimmy Butler doesn't shoot the 3. He doesn't.
Well, because
he doesn't though.
But why doesn't he?
He's not good at it.
Okay.
But
that's what I'm saying. When you think of where could we started this conversation by saying where could Bam take that next leap? Like he's done a little bit of everything. The only thing that he hasn't really done is the shooting part of it.
Okay, but forget about the shooting. Like let's just look at the last game, the end of game situation where he got tied up with Jimmy. Like Jimmy made the screen for him. He went the wrong way.
Okay.
I think that's kind of where the next step is, isn't it? Like the ball in your hands at the end of a game, go make a play to get to the rim. Like let's forget about 3-point shots.
The also thing is you have to understand is one of the things that the Heat have a problem with, and it's not a bad thing. Everybody defers. Jimmy's the alpha, right? But for the most part, one of the humps that the big 3 had to get over when they were here was, hey, if you got it, go get it. Yeah. Don't worry about everybody else. And I think, Kendrick Nunn does it. Tyler Hero does it. You're starting to have more guys who, if they have an opportunity to go ahead on and get the bucket, they do it. Bam's not there yet. He's a little more aggressive, but not to the point where he's still gonna defer. He still tries to defer.
Yeah, but it's still, this is the first year where it's even like any offensive responsibility is on his shoulders.
Right.
No,
I get you. I mean, you think Siakam thinks that now? Or he just became that? I don't think he thought he didn't get the reins like Jay Rich did.
Well, I know Bam did. I mean, Bam said, he said, I didn't think I was going to have this responsibility this year.
Okay.
So I do think that does get into guys' heads a little bit about there's a growth there. But that's why I think it's important. That's why Jimmy is the best player. Like I think that having that guy alongside you to guide you in that light of being the guy who's impacting winning, whether it is offense or defense or whatever. That's why I think Jimmy's the guy now. I just don't know who it's going to be in 2-3 years.
Somebody gave me another, and I'm agree with this one. Ibaka didn't have a jump shot early in his career. He was he couldn't dribble. He couldn't do a lot of things. He was probably behind where Bam was. But
when he was a 26-year-old rookie.
Well, he's got to be, 43?
Yeah, who knows? We're back after this.